Everybody. If at some point during this stream you hear snoring, just leave me alone. Just let me sleep, dude. I did not get much sleep last night. And it'd be awesome if I could say, yeah, it was because I was partying all night, man. But I had some neighbors who were partying, and I had some neighbors who were setting off illegal fireworks. And I had a dog who was losing his friggin' mind. So, yeah, it wasn't exactly a party. But I didn't get much sleep. I see you too. Well, I mean, I sort of see you. Lady Wendelin. And she knows what I'm talking about because she was in it with me. Yeah. So welcome to the stream. Happy 250th birthday to the United States of America. And happy Independence Day to everybody. This is my recovery stream. I was literally just out there in my living room, like just trying to pass the time before the stream. I've been watching these cartoons from like the 30s, character called Cubby. And yeah, hungover without the fun of partying. So I'm watching Cubby. These cartoons are wild, although the ones I was looking at, not quite as good as the earliest ones. And when I say wild, I mean highly inappropriate too, for current audiences, for modern audiences. So that phrase they like to use for all those people that apparently don't buy tickets to movies, but they're pretty wild. But dude, I was falling asleep. I just kind of nodded off for about the last 20 minutes, and I kind of woke up out of it, and I'm like, oh, I guess I got to get up and go back and do this. So I'm doing it, man. I'm doing it. But what we're going to do today, because I didn't have a whole lot of stuff to even talk about, honestly, is this is just going to be kind of a chill stream. We're going to look at some Life magazines that I just got delivered. Found a good little price on a lot of 4 of them from 1959. Oh, can you even see? Yeah, there's my finger. Okay. Whoa. 1959. Anyhow, we'll look at some of those. We're just going to chat. We're going to goof off. Mr. Sushi Hut, hello, Dad's Den, and Lady Wendelin. Hello to you, Mr. Sushi Hut. Dude, you've been in it lately on the gaming stuff with getting rid of the physical media. I don't do a lot of the gaming, but I'm with you 100%. Yeah, it's a move that to me is not unexpected, but it's also. This is like an issue I think we have with, I'll say current day corporate America, but it's not even just current day. It's kind of the latest iteration of it, because they're in a position like they got to make sales. They got to get numbers, that's how they keep their jobs. And I get it. So they're always looking at ways to like capture their customers and wring a little more money out of them. But along the way, sometimes they just forget that you also got to like serve your customers, genuinely serve your customers. And I don't know. I think they're making a mistake. And you are promoting the physical movies too, which is important. And look, the streaming's nice because movies, physical media takes up space, and you only got so much room, in your house or wherever to do that kind of stuff. And if you look at like the history of, say, music, because it's, we've had recorded music longer than this other stuff, you start off with the 78s. Were they 78s? No, is it 33 1/3, I think is where they start. Yeah, 33 1/3. Big, kind of thick, Bakelite discs. I don't know if it was technically Bakelite, but it's kind of like Bakelite. I got a bunch of those, but you got one song on each side. So it's kind of like the later 45s, only it's much bigger. And then you get the long plays. Now you could put a whole album, on. And by the way, albums, once upon a time, the reason we call them albums is because you would literally buy something that looked like a photo album with all the sleeves, with all the discs in it. So if it was like 8 songs on the album or whatever, you'd have 4 of those thick sort of discs in a little photo album. So then we get, the 33 and the thirds long plays and the 45s as well. But you get those. Now they're thinner. That's vinyl. They hold more songs on them, right? So in other words, more storage space for the media. And then we get the cassette tapes, and there were a couple. Well, there's there was the what do you call them, 8 tracks. And then you get the cassette tapes. And again, now I got an album on something this size. You get the discs. It's about the same size as, it's a little bigger than the tapes, but it was slightly better quality. But you see, it's like more storage space, more storage space, more storage space. So you could fit more stuff into a smaller area, right? Hey, old man of war. And so, okay, streaming, dude, streaming's awesome. Like you could put, you could have everything at your fingertips and you don't have to store it all. It seems like a great idea, but, we're kind of finding out with some of these companies that they're trying to take advantage and they're kind of screwed up and, it's that kind of thing. It's too bad. It should just be an absolute good to be able to have a lot of cool stuff at your fingertips at a fair price. But that seems to be the big fight lately is what's a fair price? I don't know, man. Maybe the companies have a point. I don't know what their internal metrics look like and all that other stuff, but I'm definitely one for physical media. I like to have this stuff, hold on to it, where I can watch it when I want to watch it, listen when I want to listen, and I don't have to worry about them changing stuff because they do change stuff. That's happening for an absolute certainty. In fact, if you ever hear, what's that song? It was Dire Straits, Money for Nothing, Chicks for Free, the MTV song. Yeah. There's a particular word in that song that doesn't appear anymore on the radio. But, there's a few places where they like to change stuff around. Mr. Sushi Hut says, one of the problems of streaming is that the quality is poor. It absolutely is. That's absolutely true. So again, you want to have your physical media for the stuff you really like, for the higher quality. But, sometimes you just want to listen to something and it's fine. The quality's good enough. I mean, because that was true with the cassette tapes. That was true. People are finding out with the CDs. The CDs did not have, they seemed like it, but they did not actually have as good a quality, as good a depth as the vinyl did. And I think it's why vinyl has made sort of a comeback. And you see now people doing sort of VHS tapes, which is fun. I don't think VHS tapes are going to make a comeback quite the same way as vinyl did. Because vinyl, I think, started with nostalgia, but then a lot of people are like, oh, this is actually a better sound as well. But they do take up a lot of room. I got a ton of them. And I don't hardly listen to them either, as much as I probably should, because they're often kind of buried under things. So yeah, that's the challenge of physical media. So it's that little it's that trade-off, like better quality, you get to own it, you get to possess it, but it takes up a lot of space in your house. So you got to pick and choose. But I mean, that's why, streaming is it's like a nice backup. You can't own everything that you like, maybe, especially if you like a lot of stuff, but there's at least the streaming, so you can at least listen to it, access it here and there. And they'll sort it out eventually, but right now, I think they're all trying to seize control. That's the big thing. Kind of like communist China, right? Seize control. But when you seize control, instead of getting more, you end up getting less, right? There's an old song like that too, what is it? Hold on loosely, but don't let go. If you what is it? Squeeze too tightly, you're going to lose control, right? So there we go. Mandawar says, did everyone just forget the Apple Music Library? Oh yeah. They've done this a few times now, man. They've done it a few times and shown that they're not trustworthy. That's what it comes down to. That's what people just want, right? When you're dealing with companies, no matter what you're doing, whether you're going and buying an Apple at a grocery store or streaming media or buying a car, just be trustworthy with us. If you screw up, tell us you screwed up. Give us your best price. We'll decide if that's what we want to pay. But stop with the trickery. Stop with trying to addict people to your products. And yeah, it sucks, man. Hey, you know what? I forgot last time around when I was opening stuff up. There was one other Super 7 Micronaut, the Emperor. Check that dude out. It's actually pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I think this was one of the Italian Micronaut figures. I don't know that it ever made it to the United States, but you got a little mixed media sort of cape, which kind of reminds me of the capes from the old Star Wars figures. But there you go. The Emperor, who, by the way, barely holding onto that sword. If I touched that sword right now, ping, it'd shoot out of his hand. Which I guess could be kind of cool if we were playing. Okay. So we'll look at a couple things that have shown up this week in the den today, but I just thought we'd just kind of like goof off today and chat about stuff. Oh, check it out. Caramels with Little Abner. Man, Little Abner was freaking huge. I don't know. It's like, what is like Little Abner, a lot of these comic strip, what is that thing that ties people together today? What's as popular today as Lil Abner was broadly across just large groups of people? I don't know, man. I don't pay enough attention to current day. So, that's kind of my fault. I'm not saying there isn't anything. But I wouldn't know if there was, frankly. And usually when I dip into current day culture, I'm like, ooh, never mind. Get me out of there. But, yeah, I don't know, man. It's like, but it's funny to think that how big that was. And remember that one MASH episode where like everybody in the operating room is talking about whether or not he's going to get married to Daisy May, because they're sort of playing off of that, that was big at the time. I mean, Calvin and Hobbes was great, but I don't know that Calvin and Hobbes reached those kind of levels of discourse. It was a different kind of strip too, but it's kind of amazing that stuff was around. Man of War. I think we found out Emperor originated in Italy. Okay, yeah. I'm pretty sure from watching other streams, people talking about the cool stuff. It is cool that there's like, like there's those G.I. Joes, the original G.I. Joes from Brazil. You got all this, there's original stuff, from American products though in Japan or wherever. It's cool that stuff all cross-pollinates. I noticed this too. Win $20,000 acting in Bat Masterson TV show. Just started looking at that. What do we got? This guy. Relieve painful cold miseries with buffering. I'll take his word for it. I will take their word for it. Although I have a feeling that wasn't the case since there are about 800 other cold medicines that came around. Basically. So this is from January 5th, 1959. And they're going to be talking about what was going on in communist China at the time in one of their articles. But I have actually not opened these up yet. I have three other ones here. I'm not saying we're going to look at all of them. I don't have any idea how long anything will take, but I haven't looked at these yet either. So this is the first look for me as well. A town's own snapshots record its record snow. Okay, let's see. Saw a picture of her daughter, Shirley Golis, and granddaughter, Shirley Lynn, taken last summer on the beach. Okay. So I'm I'm not sure what this has to do with anything, but there they are on the beach. And then the next next shot is of the house buried in snow. There's another one. Last fall, Thomas Budd photographed his son Gary with a friend looking like fierce footballers. Okay. Sometimes it's fun to kind of look up these people's names online and see if anything pops up. So apparently they got record snow. Sister Judith stands at gate of Catholic school closed, like others, for the week. Did it say where it was? I've already forgotten. I have already forgotten where this record snow was. Or did I not even read it? Oh, Oswego in upstate New York. Okay. All right. Yeah, I know upstate New York. Get some crazy friggin' snow. I think Graham Nolan's talked about that a few times. If anybody out there follows Graham. Batman artist, creator of, or co-creator of Bane, who's now working on some new superhero stuff. Letters to the editor. Cards that can do what they look like they can do. Yeah. I'll tell you what, I love the old cars, but they're not all they're cracked up to be either. I saw a thing, it was kind of interesting. It was showing like crash tests between classic 50s automobiles and current day compact cars. And I'd say the compact cars, this is probably mid 2000s. It had to be right around in there. I'm just guessing, and everybody talks about like, oh, the old cars were beasts. They were steel beasts. These new cars, and the compacts were beating the crap out of those old cars because even though they don't maybe use exactly the same materials, they're just better engineered to not crumple. And they were literally it'd be like, you'd have the two cars, you'd have car number one, here's car number two, they'd hit like this. And just the car, the old 50s car was just crumpling where it hit the other one. It was kind of amazing. I got a 50s car that my dad's been working on. So I was like, oh, okay, well, let's keep that in mind next time I'm out driving it. Don't purposely ram into any little compact cars. So what is this? The Big Bird orbits words of peace. A human voice cradled in outer space spoke a message as warm as the Christmas season it celebrated. This is the President of the United States. My voice is coming to you from a satellite. I convey to you and all mankind America's wish for peace on earth. Dwight Eisenhower. Okay. Now that's interesting. It was coming from an Atlas ICBM in orbit around the world. I wonder if that was a different, if ICBM meant something different there. Because it doesn't sound like it would be an intercontinental ballistic missile, but maybe, no, because the Atlas was a missile. All right, I guess I sent one up. Maybe it wasn't meant to go into permanent orbit. Huh. So this is after Sputnik. So this was America getting their first one up there. Dude, I love the control room photos from back in the day. And check out that dude. Look at that tie. Wouldn't think a guy with a tie like that was putting a satellite up in space, but by God, they did it. But yeah, that was kind of cool, those old days with the satellites. And it's just not that long ago, really. The whole space exploration thing has just gone so freaking fast. Really amazing. When you try to look at like a timeline for stuff like Star Trek, which they're always trying to alter because, the Star Trek original series timeline makes sense maybe from, where it starts in 66 or so, but as things change, it doesn't make as much sense. Like they go, well, we've got to push back the eugenics wars of the 90s and I'm always like, no, you don't. It's a fantasy universe. You don't have to do that. But when you're looking at it and trying to figure out how to fit all of this technological advancement in, I don't know, man, sometimes you realize it just goes so fast. Maybe it's not as unrealistic as you think. So now I'm trying to figure out though, like what is that particular toy? Look at that little, I just noticed a little dog there. So you got the rockets. It kind of looks like, it looks like spacemen or aliens up on top. Oh, there's like a dish, and he's holding one of them. Yeah, I need to research that and see what that is. It looks like a little play set with rockets. It's badass. I've seen a few cool toys like that in old, advertisements. So what does it say? From space to Hamtramck, Michigan. That's probably not how you pronounce that. The president's voice comes into the home of fireman Ed Alexiak, sitting on couch with his wife Helen and daughter Valerie, 9. On floor are son Ron, 12, and 2 neighbors. Mrs. Alexiak was so thrilled, said this event would usher in a new radio age. Oh, and the kid's reading some friggin' comics over there, too. I'd love to get a good shot of that and see if we could clean it up some. Oh, nice. I'm not going to try to turn it, but Get a little gatefold of the rocket launch. It was also new, man. But then look at us today. This is kind of the thing. Like, we talk about how much things change but stay the same. And here we are in 2026, amazed by rocket launches again because of Musk and, SpaceX and all that other stuff. So, the thing you get looking at some of these old Life magazines is that, again, it's so much of it, you're still feeling it today, or it's being echoed today. So there's Atlas Homes to New Era Communication. It's cool when we had magazines like this too that would get into all this stuff and sort of educate you on all this. And you could find that on YouTube videos and things. But I think what's cool with these was that you subscribed to Life magazine and you didn't know what you were going to get each week. So you got like an interesting, melange of items. A capsuled monkey blazes trail for man in space. Epic trip shows says humans can survive rocket takeoff, gravity-free flight. Yeah, and again, we're in 59, so there's still questions about what we can do, how far we can go. Look at this art, though. How awesome is that? So that's like, I guess, the capsule. Yes, here we go. Elaborate recovery system. Goes into action after nose cone bottom with a monkey capsule shown in cutaway. Okay. Hits the water. Attached are twin parachutes which opened at 8,000 feet to help break the fall. On the surface is a balloon which was ejected at 6,000 feet. It spreads fluorescent dye on the water, giving the whole area a yellow-green glow. Its strobe light flashes brightly, and its radio antenna signals nearby boats and planes. Wow. You get so used to some of this stuff, and you forget all that goes into it. Parliamentary pajama party in Korea. Around-the-clock sit-down strike to block a bill to tighten security laws. Okay. Ingrid Schmidt with her new husband. Oh, that'd be Ingrid Bergman. Getting married. Presidents in and out. New French president, General de Gaulle. De Gaulle would be a pain in America's ass for a while. Glum news for Goldfein. Apparently he's out of the federal district court. California confusion. Yeah, that makes sense. NATO's solid organization in Paris. Yeah, not for long. Not for long. And de Gaulle would be part of that. Hey, he was looking out for the best interest of France, I guess, in his mind. But I think de Gaulle was also kind of just a pain in the ass. A Peronista reprise. Oh, here we go. Evita Peron. See, this is what's cool about these. You're like going, yeah. Nowadays, Evita is some stupid musical that, they hire obnoxious people to be in. And then it was just happening. City misses strike stopped papers. It's news for the week. And then it's not. Oh, is that? Oh, man. Tom Thumb. A troop of midgets pass out handbills in front of Queen's Theater, hired by Lowe's. The midgets toured New York wherever the film was being shown. Interesting. I think that's Jack Parr, yeah. A star named Asia listens. Is that little Asia? Wasn't she like in burlesque or something? Without commuters' opiate, a paper, passengers have nothing or almost nothing to do. And yet they survived. It's just, see, back then the paper was like the smartphone of today, that people wanted to just zone out to. France has not been a very collaborative country in NATO. Yeah, that's for sure. They derailed a fighter jet program with Germany recently. Not much has changed. Yeah, and Sushi, part of that's probably also that none of those countries has the money to do the stuff that they want to do. I mean, that's kind of been true for a long time. Everything's had to be a collaboration. I think part of it was trying to force the whole, we're all European and we like each other, haha. And, because you'd get that even with like TV shows that would be partnerships between countries. And, from an American standpoint, you're like going, why do you need a partnership with another country? First of all, why do you need a partnership with a government to make a TV show? We make them all the time over here. We make tons of them. We make more than we need, probably. Why do you guys have? It's because they have not had the money to do anything for a very long time. They just don't. I don't, like they said, most American states are richer per capita, in terms of standard of living, et cetera, than Europe. And they'll argue, well, but we this, we that. I get it. But it at least shows, though, there's a certain amount of parity between the 50 American states and the different countries in the European Union to an extent in terms of economics. And, it's because you guys have been sort of strangling your economies for so long. I don't know. I hope it's worth it. But you're having to, import tons of people to try to keep things going. And that's probably not going to work out well. We're just watching that unfold. Have you had your soup today? I have not had my soup today. That is true. Ooh, yeah, Campbell's. They just had that whole blow up recently with with that guy saying they're filled with crap and jeez. It reminds me of the old posters you get like during World War II, loose lips sink ships. It seems like these executives like really need to get training on you don't talk to anybody about anything ever. Just keep your mouth shut, which I kind of know. I do some front-facing stuff with the press. In the past, I actually would be on camera once in a while. Now it's mostly just, I chat with a reporter for a story, for things like that. But it's something I'm very aware of. You got to be able to choose your words wisely, take a pause, think about what you're going to say. You got to think about which word you use, you don't say something is cheap. You say it's inexpensive. It's that kind of thing. And, but you definitely don't start talking about skeletons in the closet with some woman you just met, 5 minutes earlier for a date. I don't know why you talk about that on a date anyways, but, shouldn't you be talking about her, for crying out loud? But hardly time to start a sweater. The Boeing 707 and 720. You can fly from New York to London in 6.5 hours to Paris in 7. Within days, you will be able to cross the U.S. in 4.5 hours in the swift new 707. Which, I don't know, is that about what it takes nowadays, too? I think they kind of, once they pretty much weren't going to use the supersonics, that was pretty much it. We're going to get a whole lot faster. Seems like the service has gotten a whole lot crappier. I'm at a point now where I don't even want to go on an airplane anywhere. I just kind of like, I don't think I'm going to do much traveling at this point in my life, except maybe my car. The airports are a pain in the ass. And I'm sort of, like I said, I got one toe on over the line of autism. So I need things to be very organized, and they're not. And I'm always convinced that I'm going to miss something, be late for something. So I'm like a nervous wreck about everything. I cannot relax. And, by the time I get where I'm going, unless I'm going to be there for a long time, I can't really like bring myself down and relax while I'm there. If I got to turn around in a day or two and get back on an airplane, I just stay sort of in like, I don't know, annoyed mode. But man, it used to be fun to go to the airport and all that stuff. I loved it. There's a Puerto Rico resort. How many threats to your security? America 4 Loyalty Group. Okay, that's insurance I've never heard of. So the Rockefellers had a resort in Puerto Rico. One wonders what it looks like in this day and age. Because, all the resorts in Vegas from that time period are basically gone. And I don't know that they'd look all that great if they weren't. So here we got Marlboro before it was the Marlboro Cowboy of the 70s. The cigarette designed for men that women like. All right. I assume they mean the cigarette is designed for men, but women like it too. Or it's designed for men that women like. Either way, the secret is in the Marlboro recipe. I love the tattoo on the hand there. Hipped on hopscotch, Chattanooga pupils learn as they leap. Wow, that's like advanced hopscotch. Holy crap. In a snail, a girl keeps her balance precariously as she spirals rapidly inward toward the center. Yeah, so we're all spiraling rapidly towards the center these days, or maybe towards the edge. I guess that's probably for math or something like that. Yeah, here's the other cool thing of these magazines. And the reason I got these is I've been looking at a bunch of them online and grabbing images that I could use on Twitter, just, do a little content, just talk about stuff or show off stuff that I think looks cool. And you're going, man, you used to get like tons of cool photography in these things. Oh, man, I'm betting on a 9 out of 10 Dr. Smoke Camel. Oh. No, there's still a lot of magazine left. Trust me, there might be one of those ads in there. There might be one of those in there. Intercountry rivalries and European egos are not a good combination. No, they aren't. And what I've noticed also about Europe, as much as Americans are looked at as being kind of wild and extreme, we fight it out, sometimes dirty, but it seems like America has not succumbed, at least up till now. We'll see how it goes. We haven't succumbed to the to going to extremes. I mean, the extremists will be here, but they don't ever take the mainstream. We have this really strong center in America, and Europe, on the other hand, seems like it tends to swing wildly from one extreme to another. It's like that line, fascism is always descending in America, but it always seems to land in Europe, is kind of the deal. Where it seems like, I don't know, I think Americans are too busy being Americans and doing our own stuff that we don't really bite on the extremist stuff. Some of us will, but most of us don't. But Europe seems to go that way. And I'm looking at Europe right now going, oh, man, I could see a swing back coming at this point that's going to be tragic for a lot of people because of what's going on now. It seems like they can never quite regulate themselves. And maybe that's it. Maybe it's like we're outwardly crazy. That's not, come on, dude. Focus. Oh, almost. It wants to. I can tell it wants to. There it goes. It's like we're outwardly crazy. And somehow that gets it out of our system. And a lot of them seem more outwardly kind of, at least in the terms of leadership, outwardly more reserved. But the crazy's deep. And then it comes out at the worst times. I don't know. It's just something I've noticed studying their history for so long. Pan Am, dude. Is that like not one of the greatest logos that ever has existed? It's just cool. I don't know what it is about it, but it's a cool logo. They don't make logos like they used to. Oh, so we have here. Pan Am offers you complete jet service with both deluxe and economy class fares available. Economy class, $453.60. Round trip to London, $489.60 to Paris from New York. All right, so let's see. I just looked at this one ad. It was from a magazine from 1980, and it was a fully programmable car radio for $900. And I did the little CPI calculation on it, which obviously it's not perfect, but it gives you a little idea maybe about values. And it would have been about a $4,000 car radio. It's like, yeah. Okay, so this is about $5,200 buying power via CPI. So, that's expensive, but I guess people pay it. Not this people, but that's cool. Pan Am was cool. And I like it. Some group bought the friggin' Pan Am. They bought basically the remnants of Pan Am. No airplanes, but they got the logo. So that's why you will see Pan Am logos on things out there that are being sold. And I'm like, that's kind of smart actually, because it was such a great logo. Studebaker Lark, Kooky Girl Success. I thought she was flipping the birds for a minute there. Oh, that's Tammy Grimes. And the only reason I really know that is because the dude who did the Batman show did a Tammy Grimes show, and I want to say it lasted 3 episodes and was canceled. It went out fast because he had a lot of success with Batman, but then Green Hornet lasted a season, couldn't get Dick Tracy made, couldn't get Wonder Woman made, probably thank God because it looked terrible. But so that's somehow I have Tammy Grimes in my brain because I looked all that stuff up when I was doing like videos or whatever at some point in Greenwich Village. So, I mean, she was a big enough deal, I guess, to get a show. Oh, here we go. Red China, bid for a future. Young and old join in the great leap forward. I don't know how to exactly say join. Yeah, so how much are they blowing sunshine up Communist China's butt in this one? Increasing every. Okay, now here's interesting, right? The whole of Red China, a country almost 4 times as populous as the U.S., and increasing every year by twice the population of New York City, is on the march to drastic modernization at home and massive power in the world. And the fact of the matter is, it would take another, 50 years to get there because it's such a freaking basket case. And I think it's probably overestimated to this day in terms of its actual power. And they've turned their population around, so they're heading in the opposite direction now, quicker than we are. I don't know that we'd ever get to a point where we had more people than China did. I don't think that'd be likely, but yeah, that's changed a lot. Swift construction of dams with fanfare. See, it's the same thing we hear about today, but what they don't tell you about is when the dam collapses. That's the problem. And a lot of people have gotten fooled by socialists on this kind of stuff over the years, over and over again. Buddhists carry their insignia of lotus blossoms and parade in Peking, celebrating 9th anniversary of the establishment of... Buddhist clergy has been largely exempted from red persecution. Not for long, baby. Not for long. But that's the thing. They go, see, they're all marching for this. And it's like, yeah, because they don't have a choice. That's the issue here. I mean, look at this and then think about Tiananmen Square, which would have been about 30 years later? And just Sushi, I know, it's funny how stuff kind of stays the same. Oh, Manowar says, got the old lady, the Pan Am board game. It was from Funko, but the iconography was too spot on. Oh, yeah, that sounds cool. Is it any good game-wise? I actually don't have any Pan Am stuff, but it's one of those things. Well, I've seen it on, I like little luggage things or purses. And, of course, I ain't buying purses, and I don't really need luggage. So it's usually on something I don't need, but I love that friggin' logo. Looks ahead, labors at hand. What is that? Anti-pest display. Promoting the killing of rats and flies. Jeez Louise. Opening of the West for vast production. In other words, here we go. A new Sinkeng settler, scarf-wearing girl pioneer who recently migrated to capital of Urumqi, or maybe it's, probably Urumqi, hands passerby fly swatter for anti-pest campaign. Yeah, now, what do we know is gone on in Sinkeng? A genocide. And it's almost kind of what they did with Tibet too, is you move the Han Chinese in and they just kind of take over. And population wise, people forget that China is an empire. It is an empire controlled by the Han Chinese. There are lots of non-Han Chinese in China. And, the Han are pretty much in control, though. So, they like to talk about America. Oh, they're imperialists. They're imperialists. It's like, dude, you still have an empire where you rule over different peoples. Give it a rest, guys. Man having fun, making money. Well, that's what I want to do. Okay, wait, how do I do this? How do I make money just reading comics with my kids? I'm down. Oh, savings and loans. Well, savings and loans. I mean, those are extraordinarily safe until John McCain gets into office. People forget that. That was one of the first things when he got into office, and he wasn't alone, was the savings and loan thing that he was involved in, that corruption. So, yeah, people should have probably known that guy was not trustworthy from the very beginning. Misery, oppression, fear inside China's communes. Yeah, there we go. So, okay, so there we get the other side of the story at least. So that's good. I give him credit on that one. The impact of the communes. Vicks cold tablets. Would you believe it? I have a cold. Well, thanks for giving it to everybody else, Tony. Enjoy these extras coming up in, this is Sports Illustrated 59. Basketball's grand finale, World Championship Bridge. That's crazy. The Rites of Spring, East Coast West. That's something I need to go through and start looking at some old Sports Illustrateds. That stuff can be pretty interesting. Soviet versus U.S. Part 2. Oh, a track meet. Okay. Oh, man. Tragedy in the tundra. Canada's great barren grounds have been crossed but once in this century. This is a first-hand account of that journey. A story of incredible adventure with a shocking ending. Not a single piece was broken. I think Mayflower, I think they're still around. Bell telephone system. They think I'm an old softy because I like the kids to call me long distance every week. But in fact, I just want to criticize their lot. No. What happens when supplies run low? Yeah, so it looks like China's the big one. Oh, check it out, man. There you go. Midget transistor radio. That was big. That was one of the first places the Japanese kind of got, things going. Sushi, you're totally right, man. You are right. We're still a powerhouse, despite ourselves. That's what people don't get about America. America got wealthy, powerful, etc. Not because the people necessarily wanted it to. They were just pursuing their own happiness, their own agenda, and that works. Now, there were people like in government that wanted to be more powerful and control things and all that kind of stuff. But the average American, it's like, no, we're not trying to dominate things or whatever. We're just doing our stuff. We're just trying to make enough money so we can have a decent house, have some barbecues, and then also we throw in a few bucks and we build a bunch of super carriers and stealth bombers and go to the friggin' moon. But, it's like, I don't think a lot of people, I think they assume, this is something true with just individuals too. They assume that other people are motivated the same way they're motivated. The good example is the guy who assumes people want to get in fights because he likes to get in fights. And so he takes everything as a challenge. Whereas most people are just like, dude, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And I think a lot of other countries, they have a different attitude than America does, but they assume that we do too. That really we want to dominate the world and take over everything. And it's like, dude, no, not really. No, there's Americans who want to do that. There are people who do because that's just how they are. But most of us, no, man, we're just trying to live our lives, dude. We just want to be cool with people for the most part. Don't bomb Pearl Harbor. That's not going to go well. But yeah, I don't think a lot of people outside of America necessarily understand that we have a different mindset. We're very individualistic. We're trying to live our own lives, but we're also kind of like the Romans. They had this thing going because of the Etruscans where they were always sort of worried about their security, and so that if somebody challenged them or threatened them would be a better term. They kind of go a little apeshit. And America can do that too. It's kind of like our Marines saying, your best friend, your worst enemy. Just be cool with us and you're going to find out that we're great. But yeah, you keep on poking at us and eventually we're going to poke back and we're pretty big. Oh, here we go. Petersons entertained great-great-grandson Peter Larson, and Kiss Beside Cake sent them by Mormon Church in Salt Lake City. They live alone in their farmhouse, and Peter still drives his 1929 Plymouth, which is a 30-year-old car, so that'd be the equivalent of us driving something from the, 90s? But still. All right, so Peter Peterson and his wife Celestia, both 98, Fairview, Utah. Wow, that's a big crowd. I know. I got to tell you something. My family, the Stater family, pretty big as well, and we're neither Catholic nor Mormon. The two groups that were typically thought of when you thought of big families back in the day. But my dad was the youngest of 9. So when we had a family reunion thing, it was big. There's a lot of people there. A shadowy ceremony. The men of the Navy's destroyers De Haven, Colette, and Benner are proud sailors who would be the last to cast any reflections on their ships. But blah, 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 blah. Okay. We get their shadows there. And then we get the goodness of malt. Well, you did lose on that bet. No Camel. No Camel cigarette ad in this one. Oh, wait, unless, here we go, last chance. Ooh. And Salem comes in and takes the money out of Man of War's pocket. Salem refreshes your taste. Menthol fresh, rich tobacco taste, a modern filter too. My goodness. The new idea in smoking. God, how long have I been going here at this point? We're not too super far in, but a couple things have shown up in the den besides these magazines. I'm going to show off one of them right now. I don't know, I might do a full review on this dude. This is Frazetta Universe, the Frazetta Girls. If you go to their website, you can find this. This is John Carter. So I just got this delivered. That's why I visit your town with empty pockets. Yeah. Well, if they're not empty when you get here, they'll be empty when you leave. At least that's the plan. So this is from Icon and the Frazetta Girls, basically Masters of the Universe style figures. We got John Carter. They did Death Dealer and Conan as well. And they're still for sale on their site. So if this appeals to you, you can check it out. I want to say like $38, which I normally wouldn't pay, but I'm like, dude, I'm going to do it. I want to see what one of these looks like. Now, it looks like I could open this thing up pretty easily and get them out. I'm not going to do that right here, but so we get John Carter, and I'm kind of looking in the background. I see swords. You can kind of see in the background some of the equipment. So swords, yeah. But you know what? I dig it. I think it looks pretty cool. See if we can get a close-up on his face. I know you get a little reflection, but I think they're pretty cool. And now I'm like going, Conan, I mean, I could. I got it because, I mean, first of all, it's a little less expensive than the even better, more realistic ones they have. So that helped. And I wanted something, because I dig Frazetta. I dig the stuff this is based on. And I have a few Masters of the Universe figures, some vintage ones. So I thought, yeah, it'd be kind of fun. Get him. He can kind of sit with all those guys up on the shelf. But yeah, I'm tempted on the Conan one. But yeah, you can find these still on their website. I checked because I posted them on Twitter, and somebody was like, wait, is that real? They thought it was maybe like AI or something. I'm like, no, it is real and spectacular. So I found the link and included that. But so there we go. Frazetta's John Carter of Mars in Masters of the Universe style. I thought that was pretty cool. And we also got a new issue of Cryptology, which may not be in like Barnes and Nobles for much longer because some of the distribution stuff is becoming a problem. But if you've never read Cryptology, and I think the new one's almost out, but it's a really good magazine. Really excellent magazine. Great articles in it. It really does remind me a lot of Film Facts from back in the day. It's mostly hitting on the retro stuff, but you get good photos, good images, legit stuff in here. Let's see if we can find. stories to make you say, ugh. 10 volumes of Pete Von Shawley comics on Amazon. Interesting. I mean, check that out. And see, that was the thing that was cool with like Film Facts was it guided you to things that you hadn't heard of or didn't know were out yet. Yeah, so here we got the Neil Adams stuff. The other one I had a really cool article about Mr. Magoo cartoons, which I was never super into in the first place. But it was an interesting article, and it talked about the ones they did where they would like adapt different books. And those are showing up now on YouTube. And I watched the Frankenstein one today, and it's weird, but there's some amazing imagery in it. Really good imagery. And they actually adapted the book pretty close. You know, it's only like 25 minutes long, but they did pretty good with it. With Mr. Magoo. Anyways, Cryptology, man. If you have not checked this one out, go look for it. You can find it on their site. Tomorrow's Publishing has it. You can get back issues there. You might be able to find one out and about. Some of the other stuff they publish shows up in my local comic shop, but Cryptology doesn't. And I got one of them at a Barnes & Noble. Hadn't seen it there since, so I bought this one online at their website. But you might want to check it out because it's a solid mag. You know, mostly horror, obviously, but it dips into other things as well. One of their other books that they put out is more directly about comic books, and I can't think of what it's called now. It's not hitting me, but yeah, they do. These guys do good work. They do really good work, so well worth checking out. So let's wind up. And you know what? I had coming attractions to look at. And I'll hit the stuff that I had. I just gonna have fun just talking about nothing, but I'll run through this stuff really, really quick. Like, unfortunately, three of the things to talk about are people who passed away, but you know, that's part of pop culture at this point. When you get right down to it, a lot of the pop culture we love is from the past, and so folks, unfortunately, get older. But this is Bill Barnes passed away recently, producer of Wonder Woman with Linda Carter, and creator of The Love Boat. And this kind of blew me away. Adapted from the memoir of Geraldine Saunders. I did not know The Love Boat was an adaptation of something. I just thought it was an excuse to tell little love stories with, you know, various Hollywood stars. So there you go. So he just passed away. Also, oh no, what did I just hit? I have no idea what I just hit, but it wasn't what I thought I hit. There we go. Oh, I'll bet it's for playing. Oh, never mind. I think I just figured out what it was. Anyways, Hikaru Kurosaki, Japanese actor, singer, and stuntman, did a lot of cool work in tokusatsu, but the one I'm most aware of, he was the guy in the Spidey suit on the Japanese Spider-Man, and he was frankly awesome in that suit. He just passed away. And then finally, Victor Willis, lead singer of the Village People, who, by the way, was not gay, believe it or not, passed this week at age of 74. And I mean, 70s pop culture, Love Boat and the Village People. I mean, there it is. And there is an episode of the Love Boat with the Village People on it. There's horse riding involved. It's friggin' insane. So if you've never watched that one, you might want to check it out. So 3 people that I thought it was worth mentioning. Rest in peace to all of them, and Godspeed to them as well. Was that Batman and Wolfman and Neil Adams? I think it might have been. Yeah, let's see. See if I can find it again. Good Lord, it's a long magazine. And that's not a bad thing that it's long, but it's bad when you're trying to find something specifically. Let's see. So there we have Batman going after Dracula. Twist by Megan. Let's see. I guess they're kind of comparing it with that. It might be Neil Adams. Oh no, Elliot. Oh, well, Elliot S. Maggin wrote them. Okay. Oh. Mike Grell took over. He used those thumbnails and based the vampire Christopher Lee. Oh, it might be Grell. He took over. Oh no, there he is. Yeah, here we have it. Neil Adams. Okay. Yeah, Neil Adams. Oh, I got this Village People in front of everything, of course. Good job. Yeah, it looks like Neil Adams, and then Mike Grell might have taken over at a certain point. Yeah, there you go. There you go. So, what else do I got? Just a couple things popped up. Mezco has the Batman telling the dude, I'm Batman. Not really sure how much demand there's going to be for that one. Okay, this I did want to call, and I've talked about it a couple times, but I love this guy's work, so I like to promote it. This is from Dan Thompson. He's got a thing called Comics Stew coming out July 7th on like Kickstarter. Includes characters Typhoon Calhoun, Hotcakes and Hash Brown, Squid Williams, and I did read those as just floppies, and they're pretty rad. And Thorn, which is like almost like a film noir, but it's set in Florida. Really good art. It was really cool. Those were on his website because I'm like a little member thing, so I get to look at stuff. But I don't know what the pricing is going to be like on this, but some really cool stuff. You might want to check it out. He's just got a very cool style, very different style, definite retro throwback style, but well worth it. And that's like all the stuff I had. Oh, the only other thing I think of was just, I don't know if maybe people saw this, but it was Disney saying, this is crazy. They're thinking might want to buy Lionsgate to get back the male and family audience. And you're like, wait a minute, man. Wait a minute. You bought Star Wars. You bought Marvel. And you lost the audiences. You lost the audiences having bought those. Why do you think buying Lionsgate is going to change anything? Are you going to buy Lionsgate and then never tell them what to do or staff any of their positions with people you prefer? Like, guys, the problem is, the calls are coming from within the house, inside the house. Disney, you're the one losing everybody. What the heck, man? It's crazy, utterly crazy. But it's corporate mindset. Well, we'll just buy something. Anyways, steel, yes, if you didn't know that, the Steelers logo is based on a logo for the steel industry. It was not original to the team, but it's a damn good logo. And that's interesting, right? I don't think we have anybody else. I don't think there's any other teams. I mean, the Packers were named after, packing plant, whatever. But they don't use like the company logo on their helmet at this point. See, Lady Wendolyn, okay. I'm not sure what that was about. Did I do something stupid? Because that would make sense. Anyhow, we've got buffering again. We'll just flip through a few of these. It won't go as long. Ooh, Zenith. Notice it's Zenith, but it's not a TV yet. I know there's stereophonic high-fidelity unit adjusts to the acoustics of your room more precisely. That is Zenith. Zenith put out good stuff once upon a time. No doubt about that. Classic legs, modern legs. Oh, the Batman figure. Oh, I got you. Oh, yeah. I know. I saw that, and I'm like going, yeah, I always dreamed I could recreate that 4-second scene from Batman by probably spending about $50 or $60 for action figures. Let's go. I think you're running out of ideas here, man. No offense. There is a cure for inflation. This is not a cure. This is talking about investing and getting a return higher than inflation. That's not really a cure for inflation. But there is a cure for inflation, and that is The government doesn't get to print money anytime it wants to. That would be the cure. Are we going to actually do that? Oh, see, I screwed up the focus again because I reached across. Oh, we got it back. Good. No. Oh, good. I didn't screw it up trying to fix it. Decisions. Which will it be? Hey, but once again, we got the Marine Corps tattoo on the hand. Marlboro soft pack or flip top box. Now, that's two different ads from Marlboro where you had the prominent tattoo on the back of the hand. All right, see, that's... Now, what's part of that? They gave cigarettes out for free to our troops. I don't mean Marlboro, but I mean the U.S. government back in the day, because the cigarettes would help calm people down, right? And that was important in the middle of World War II. So they got a lot of people addicted to smoking, essentially, during World War II. And so making a play specifically for veterans with your cigarette ads, actually kind of smart. Riots, girls, and fads, Spring's ode on campuses. So here's the girls. There's the riot. Let's see, Yale, gunning their engines amid students' jeers and taunts of cops go home. Remember, this is 59. This is what people think of as 69 in the 70s. This is 59. New Haven motorcycle police try to clear campus streets after St. Patrick's parade. Charging patrolmen later dispersed the crowd and arrested 16 students. All right. So it wasn't necessarily political, but yeah, that kind of crap's happened forever. You can read about, God, it was like probably in the 1500s, 1600s, the big beer riots that would take place in like Germany on college campuses, maybe even England. I don't know. But remember, colleges used to be like, you'd get kids about 16 years old, in college. So it was a younger set. And the colleges descend from religious schools. And so in most countries, the clergy had a separate legal system than just regular people did. And because of the way the universities developed from that, the students also were part of a different legal system. So there was a lot of fighting between the students and just call them like the townies, because the townies couldn't, the town authorities couldn't do anything to the students. It had to be handled through the church. And that just set up a lot of anger between people. Manowar says, those look like Mezco 5-point figs. I did get the 66 big box with Villains, Batmobile, and cardboard. Oh, quality. So yeah, Mezco does good stuff. Absolutely. And I think you're right. I think it is the 5 points. But I just thought that one was funny. It's like, wow, okay. It's a very specific moment. It would be awesome, though, if the figure of the dude, is based on that guy. So that he gets to dip his beak a little bit in the profits for his little figure out there. If Mezco tells me that guy gets paid for that figure, I'll buy it. That's a lie, by the way. I'm probably not going to buy it. But also, he ain't getting any money for it. They're just going to give him a different face. What do we got here? More Spring on campus. That's funny. Now, how amiable. I see AI, and my first thought is, what? Oh, AI Strand. Okay, president of Oregon State. Yeah, we know Oregon State's probably a little weirder now than it was. Riot police in the leather. Very much what you saw in the 89 Batman movie. That's kind of what that was based on. That was a look that the police had at one point. They definitely one point went for the look of intimidation. You're supposed to be a little bit scared of these guys. And I think it's why they would kind of tell kids like, oh, no, you don't have to be scared of the police. He's not going to hurt you. If you're lost or something, go tell a police officer. But they definitely wanted potential criminals to be scared of the police. And then we get the phone booth stuffing. That dude sort of, I don't know, didn't drew the short straw, I think. Holy Lord. Yeah, college was idiotic in the 50s too, but I think they actually learned something, a little more so than now. A look at the World's Week, a gracious O'Kelly gesture to Mamie, Grace's boy by Grace, Prince Albert, tiny son of Prince Rainier and heir to his father's tiny sunny principality of Monaco, sat sedately in a nursery chair. Prince Albert in the can. Over the fence, but not out. Oh, wow, man. A pacer began acting like a hunter. He leaped the fence, dragging his sulky and driver. Oh, I guess those are called sulkies. Okay. And driver Al Phillips, not the cleaner, behind him. Phillips held the excited Peter down until the other horses had safely passed. Then let him up. Somehow he was unhurt. I like that the horse is named Peter. That's funny to me. Jack Benny is hanging out with a chimpanzee. All right. Down under, record crowd to hear Billy Graham. Billy Graham was big back in the day. Here we got the commies up to trouble. Khrushchev. High stakes in the summit game. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Oh, man, what a crazy time. The 59ers carry on. Oh, this is in Anchorage. Okay, so this is up in Alaska. Oh, wow. That's crazy. Like going all the way across Canada into Alaska. Oh, no, it looked like it started maybe up in Michigan. There's Campbell's Soup again. Yeah, we'll flip through a few and see what's up. A cigar brings out the caveman in you. Oh, yeah, that would not go over well with a few people these days. But you know what? It would probably go over well with about 80% of people because it was a joke and they wouldn't worry about it. Oh, I love this art. That is massive. That's really cool. Pontiac. Oh, yeah, just go through and find all the car companies that don't exist. An Iroquois war on white man's law. Interesting. For a weak and angry band of Indian warriors in Oswego, Ontario, tried to reverse history and throw over the white man's law. Led by hereditary chiefs, Iroquois braves of the Six Nations tribes stormed the council house, proclaimed their reservation an independent nation, and dispatched wires to U.S., British, and Canadian heads of state demanding a peace conference. And I'm going to guess it didn't end up working out. Puss in Boots cat food. Ooh, what's this? The cavalry's dry run in water and headlong charge on land. I think one of those dudes is not wearing clothing. So let's go ahead and pass before I get in trouble. Many happy bowls. Oh, Alphabets. Okay. Post Alphabets. It's the power-packed oat cereal with a generous supply of protein to give everybody bounce and vitality. The perils of being too thrifty. Old man on relief saved pennies. Played the market. Earned $23,000. And whoa. I'll take a little bit of that whoa. Thank you very much. Wizard Mode. Oh, there's Northern Quilted. What we got with this? Roses. Oh, okay. Are these like, maybe these are new ones that have just been created? Debut of prize roses. The old favorites grow better still. Okay. See, look at that art. The photography, though, is amazing. Just amazing. And one thing I found that that Grok is pretty good at is taking something like this and just restoring the photo. Because it's not, super washed out in the first place. So it's not going to try to replace things because it's trying to figure out what it's looking at. But it'll just sharpen these things up and get the colors to pop real nice. If you're ever messing around with any of that stuff. My wife was using a few different ones to kind of help with some old family photos. And it worked pretty good on those too. But there's a few where if it's confused, it just sort of kind of says, well, I think this person looks like this. And it's not always right. Ooh, Rice Krispies. Rules for healthy roses. Yeah, rule number 1, don't grow them in Las Vegas, which is actually not true. I have seen where you can grow roses here in Vegas pretty good, assuming you're not me. And if you're me, doesn't go so well. We got Debbie Reynolds, Princess Leia's mom. You always seemed like a cool lady, honestly. Of course, I don't know, but she always seemed very cool. Oh no, that's still Debbie. Okay. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Debbie phones her mother's house in Burbank to find out how her children, Carrie Francis, age 2, and Todd Emmanuel Fisher, 1, are faring. Yeah. Unfortunately for her, she married a jerk. And I think that probably, among other things, is why Carrie Fisher had a lot of problems in her life from that, and but also, when she grew up and all the, crazy crap that was going on in the 60s and 70s. Just, it was probably a hard time to grow up in, especially, Hollywood, sort of rich, etc. All that stuff can kind of get you. Softweave. Now, see, look, they're selling, toilet paper, right? What do we get? We get this lovely woman in a gown. Nowadays, what we get are bears talking about wiping their asses. Or we get something even worse. Remember, the one where they put like the simulated blue poop on your wrist and wipe it. I'm like, what? No, stop that. Oh, God. Things didn't have to be just creepy in the old days. And now, creepy is like all we friggin' get. Drives you crazy. Kremlin intrigue and debauchery. Agent who guarded Soviet leaders tells of scandal in high places. Yeah, no kidding. Turns out when you have pretty much absolute power over people, you kind of turn into a jerk. Also, you're probably a jerk to begin with because non-jerks don't want that much power. At least that's been my experience. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, I can't wait to sit and read some of these and go through the articles. And I've been going through tons of these men's magazines lately, looking for like ads and stuff, but finding some really interesting articles as well. And I know we kind of joke about articles in men's magazines, but like I found a really interesting interview with Gene Roddenberry. I just found one with Stan Lee. I found one with Meatloaf talking about the Roadie movie, which I'm getting pretty close to doing a prep for a video on. And I'm like, oh, well, that's kind of cool. I might get some good stuff out of that interview for my video. And just various stuff, though. There's one really long article. I don't know if anybody here, if you follow sort of aviation from back in the day, but we had a very cool bomber called the Valkyrie at one point. I want to say was it the B-71, I think? Very high-tech airplane. Very interesting. And it was kind of a test bed as well for technology. And a couple of them ended up crashing. And it's a description of how that happened with one of them, where it collided with another airplane. And the scandal, because a lot of people didn't want the other airplanes up in the air with it, but the was it Boeing? I can't remember which company it was. They wanted it to do a photo shoot, and so they got their way, and you ended up getting this accident, which killed people, destroyed an extraordinarily expensive airplane. But it's like a 6-7 page article that goes into detail over what happened with that. And you're going, wow. So I'm telling you what, hit Internet Archive and look around for old magazines. And there's some really interesting stuff out there. It's really put me into mind of like, I think losing out on magazines for the internet was a real setback. You can't quite do the same thing on the internet. You just can't. It doesn't hit the same way. It doesn't work the same way. There was a lot of really interesting stuff. And again, you didn't really get to pick and choose it completely. I mean, if you're getting a men's magazine, obviously that's going to aim its way towards particular stories, versus getting like Vogue or Cosmopolitan, that kind of thing. Oh, look at that. How the West Was Won, beginning of next week's life. Wonder if that's what that movie was based on. I bet it was. That's really cool. But you get this interesting variety of things that you weren't maybe expecting. And yeah, you could do that with the internet if you go like down a rabbit hole on stuff, but it's a little different. It's a little different. By the way, the other two I got, this one, missing part of the cover, Jack Parr, and I assume that's when he was doing late night already. And then we also got from May 25th, The Adamses relax. I'm not sure who the Adamses are, but we also got a story about Jimmy Hoffa when he was still alive. Oh, there we go. Life in Washington by Mrs. Sherman Adams. Okay. Yeah, mass reporting on the internet loses all nuance after it's... Yeah, it's true. But it's also just... It was a paying gig. It was a good paying gig. So somebody could take the time to write these things, in a way that the internet doesn't always pay that way. And if it does, it pays more for clicks and things of that nature, but not necessarily for quality. Well, there you go, folks. It's just kind of a chill stream today because, man, I am zonked. I'm out of it. And I'm surprised I managed to stay lucid the entire time. And we'll bring the whole crew in here. Where the hell did I lay the other friggin'... Oh, yeah, here it is. Here's John Carter. So, hey, thanks, everybody, for stopping by and chatting with me. I enjoyed it, and hope you enjoyed kind of looking at some of these old Life magazines. It's one of those things I like to grab them when I can find them at a good price. And these are a little beat up, but the price was so good, I'm like, I'm in the mood. I'm just going to buy a few of them and read through and see. But, thank you. Thank you, sir. Is that a cookie? Why is it the first thing I thought of was a pepperoni pizza? Maybe I'm in the mood for pizza. But thanks, brother. Appreciate it. So thank you, everybody, for stopping by. And as I always say, God bless everybody. Coming up in Dad's Den. All right, now I said we were going to do all the Balder stuff for Thor Monday. I've changed my mind a little bit because the first issue of Balder really then goes right into the issue 361 of Thor. So I'm going to go from first issue of Balder into a couple issues of Thor to do the whole Invasion of Hell. And then I'll finish up the Balder miniseries. So Thor number 361 tomorrow. On Wednesday, a movie in which I can finally see myself, a old movie, kind of obscure now, called The Fat Man, that I rather enjoy. And on Friday, if I can really get my crap together, I'm going to do part 2 of my Dungeon Master's Guide thing. Looking at part 2 of that. I got to flip through it. I got to take mental notes and everything, but I might have time. If I don't, Friday might just be a review of this dude, because that's a really easy video to do. So we'll see. I got a couple 3 videos in the works that I need to kind of finish up this weekend or make progress on. So we'll see if I find time to delve into the second half of the DM's Guide. Dude, interview. Beverly Washburn interview, Spider Baby. That is the movie I'm like, I ain't watching Spider Baby. I've read too much. I ain't watching Spider Baby. I told my daughter that too. I said, by the way, you're an adult, but I forbid you to ever watch Spider Baby because it sounds just, no. You're not doing it. So anyways, that's coming up Dad's Den this week. God willing, and the creek don't rise. You are welcome, Mr. Sushi Hut, for the stream. And keep fighting the good fight, man, for Physical Media. Thank you, Man of War, for being here. I don't think we got Ramey today. We didn't get Ramey today. And Ramey had asked me at the end of the last stream if I'd seen that Commodore had put out a new telephone. We're talking Commodore computers. They're back. And I did see it, and it's a cool-looking phone, and it is hardwired designed not to allow the internet in. So you can do texting with it, but it will not permit web traffic into that phone. In other words, nobody can hack in and mess with it. But of course, you also can't look at the web from it. So it's like a flip phone. Very kind of cool looking, but it is not cheap. And believe me, as an old Commodore computer guy, I was like, I don't need that, but I kind of want. Wait, how much? Oh, never mind. I think it was like about $800. But at any rate, but in case Ramey watches this later, dude, I saw your comment and I have seen that phone, and it is very, very cool. So God bless everybody. Please be kind to one another. Have a little bit of fun out there. Recover from, last night and the party, but keep on fighting for America, because God damn it, it is worth fighting for. And I will see you hopefully again soon in Dad's Den of Pop Culture. Bye-bye.